Good morning, TFR.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. Our day is beginning, there's so much to do.
Well, happy Tuesday, everybody. I'm just joking. It's Friday. I just wanted to see how far that take
It's
off.
Friday, my dudes.
Welcome to the Ironworx right here on Truth Frequency Radio. My name is Josh Corey, and I'm joined this morning by two of my very good friends and co-hosts. Starting off with one, Mr. Zachary Zabala. You may know him as Good Times for All over here on the YouTubes. Zach, how are you doing, sir?
Hey, Josh. Hey, Walt. Hey, everybody out there in TFR land. Not a bad week. Got some stuff done. I started crocheting again. Travis asked me to make him a hat, a Papa Smurf hat. Yeah, hey, whatever. It's a little different, and I had to do a little creative thinking, I guess. But I think it's going to turn out pretty cool.
That
Yeah.
like a slouch hat. That's good stuff. I like it.
Yeah. And I've been researching a lot of electricity this week.
Because you
Got
got
some cool stuff to share with you guys tomorrow.
you got a big show coming up tomorrow.
I don't know if I call it a big show, but yeah, I got a show coming up tomorrow. Should be an hour earlier. I got to get with Bob and get into StreamYard and reset that time. It says 4, but it'll be at 3. Lucas has to get to the, because it's Sunday morning for him. So he has to get to the farmer's market and all that good stuff. So yeah, it'll be an hour earlier at 3 o'clock.
So OBS is being really wonky. I don't know what the hell's going on with it. So apologize for the stream. I'm not sure. I've changed nothing other than the date, which is pretty good for me. So I don't know. It's cycling through. It's dropping a bunch of frames and then it goes good. Runs green, runs red, runs orange, runs yellow, runs green, and just cycles through. I don't know what's going on, so my deepest apologies. So while that tries to get sorted out, let's say hello to one Mr. Walter Johnson, also known as Flat Earth Head here on the YouTubes. Walter, how are you doing, sir?
Good morning, sirs. Josh, pardon me, Josh and Zach and my throat, apparently. Good morning, everyone out there. Sorry to hear that we're having some streaming issues, but it seems to be the way of late. I don't know if it's just this time of year. As we know, energetically, this is a time of year when things are a little unusual. I think that's why this time of the year is why so much of the older, elite-driven belief systems that are still in use these days are in high gear. Some of the rituals that are performed, some of the magical movements that are being made right now, struggles for power, whatever the fuck you want to call it, it's definitely the time of the year for it. I know we have a big thing coming up here in about 10 days with the Christmas star coming back, and we've all spoken about the crazy energy. I have a brand new, like literally less than 3 weeks old cell phone that is already problematic in like not getting texts. My game that was fine a week ago, this week has been crazy. Her phone has started not getting things right. Just, it seems like electronically they've either kicked up their frequency devices or the natural frequencies of the plane have really gotten hectic and crazy. And they seem to be affecting quite a few electronic devices. So hopefully that's part of what's going on and it'll work itself out. Everybody just put positivity onto Restream. Positivity onto Restream. How are you, Josh?
I'm doing pretty good. It's been a relatively quiet week, not too much to report. I ordered some lights. One came in yesterday. Another will probably be here tomorrow, maybe Saturday. But they're really cool. They're like a composite type of material, but so one of them is a crow on a little perch. So it's like a wall sconce that you put on the wall. But the light is just a bare bulb hanging from a cord, but the cord goes in the crow's mouth. So it's just like a little crow perched up on your wall holding the light out for you. And then the other one is basically the same thing, only it's a bird sitting. You can put it on a table or whatever. It's a lamp that away. And it's just another crow with a cord and a bare bulb, but the crow's got the cord of light in its mouth holding the light out for you. So I thought those are really cool. Beyond that, I got nothing. It's been super duper quiet. It's going to be a pretty exciting show this evening, I think. And moving back out to the new house, which was where my wife grew up. She's reconnected with some old friends she hasn't had a chance to really sit down and talk with in a while. And in doing so, got to know or re-know one of her friend's 13-year-old son, who is just about had it up to his ears with the COVIDiocy and everything else that's going on, and having to try to deal with schoolwork and not seeing friends and not socializing and seeing all this crazy stuff going on around him. And it's really kind of starting to open his eyes to the BS and the lies that they've been spewing at him. So we're going to have him on tonight just to talk about what it's like to be a 13-year-old kid trying to wake up in all of this nonsense. So I think that's going to be really exciting to have Donnie on. I'm looking forward to it.
I am
He
as well.
is bright, a bright young man. Makes me not so fretful of the future. You know,
Well, my apologies ahead of time to Donnie. I'll say it again as I did yesterday. Unfortunately, I was still caught up in a bit of shopping.
he said you were an asshole, Walt.
I knew he did, and that's what he thought. So I'll make it up today. When we hang out. I guess the good thing is me not being there for the full time yesterday, I will have a lot of questions you guys probably have already asked that will feel like, oh, I don't want to repeat myself, so I can bring some fresh getting to know Donnie to the mix.
Well, yeah, we really didn't talk flat Earth at all Wednesday. We kind of left that off the table.
Just see what's going to happen. Awesome. I love it.
Yeah, so for Friday, like to this afternoon, we told them, get some questions. Have, anything you want to ask. We really didn't touch on it at all Friday. And yeah, I think it'll be good to, see how much programming they've done, they can get across, in only that short amount of time. He's only been in school for what, 8 years maybe?
Maybe.
He hasn't gone through the whole thing, so I don't know. It's neat that he's waking up at this young of an age.
That's what I thought too. If I could have even had a fraction of the eyes that he's got at his age, when I was his age, it would have been probably a whole different story. But I wouldn't be where I am now. So, and I got no complaints.
So I was talking to a young man yesterday, Mitch. He comes down and hangs out by the river, and we talked for about an hour and a half yesterday. Just standing out in the backyard, just talking about nature, alchemy, all that kind of stuff. And I don't know if you guys know this, but we talked about this before. Oak trees they'll all produce a crazy amount of acorns, like every 7-8 years, something like that, every 6 years. But the craziest part is all the oak trees across the plain do this the same year. Well, I remember back in the day when, I was in Indiana, I had my gardens. One year I had the year of the pickle. I did 100 jars of pickle by the 4th of July. And I couldn't give away cucumbers or pickles that year because every garden was just overloaded with cucumbers and pickles, that plant. What if all plants have that year? I remember a year where my peppers did amazing. I had 500 Tabasco peppers on each plant. I had 4 Tabasco pepper plants. And they looked like trees that year. And then next year, they didn't grow half as big. So what if every year they're, depending on what is happening above us, these frequencies are hitting these plants. Like nature knows. It's if we could tap into that, you wouldn't have to grow all these different fruits and vegetables every year. You know, I mean, well, yeah,
I
you
wonder-
want to have fresh cucumbers, but as far as pickles go, pickles last for years.
I wonder if that's tied into like I know this year, so like according to the Farmer's Almanac, we're going to have a winter to be remembered, or whatever the phrase was. It's going to be a crazy winter. So maybe the system prepares for a time of a crazy winter, well, no food available, whatever the case may be, by having these years, like you're saying, like this is the year we're going to need more
Beetroot,
Whatever.
according to Lucas
pickles or whatever.
the beetroots are going crazy this year. He's got heaps of beetroot this year.
Well,
Yeah.
What if beetroot is what cures the covidiacy, and that's why it's up, in production?
I guess that is the purpose of, a bumper crop, just to help get you through those lean times.
Yeah, it's just so amazing. This stuff happens around us all the time. And I'm still just noticing some of this stuff. Gosh, I wasted so much time.
Lots of sevens. Lots of sevens. Speaking of wasting time, it brings me back to what Josh said a little earlier about he wishing that he was as aware and awake and looking around at the world as Donnie is. I mean, truly, you guys have heard the stories of me and the family I grew up in and how we all were a little bit unusual and lots of weird occurrences, and which brought me to be the person who quested and looked and seeks out what the fuck's going on around me, because it surely wasn't what everybody else had going on around them. And that was from a very early age. And for instance, when I was heavily into the UFO research and going to all the conventions and getting to know those people, I felt I was on a path of pure knowledge and awakening, and it had led me up to this point with all the things I had uncovered before that, JFK, etc. And then Flat Earth knocked me in the fucking head and said, "You don't know shit, boy. Sit down." So, yeah. I think that's just part of it, is your path is your path. Even if you weren't as aware as Donnie at a certain age, look at you now. You're kicking ass on this show for sure. So I think it's just everybody's different path, different frequency, different approach. If you had gotten here in a totally different way or a totally more enlightened way, we might not have ever met you and you wouldn't be one of the Iron Realm members. So I'm just saying, you never know what's going to happen when you go on this path that we're all trying to figure out.
You never can tell. I could have been Santos.
Exactly. Exactly. Mark Sargent, something. But definitely, I saw him on somebody's show yesterday. Was that? Whose show was I watching yesterday when I saw it? Oh, man. Oh, Rocks. That's whose show it was over there. I turned around and he was there with, was it Riley? Oh, man, I only saw it for a few minutes because it was flipping through my phone trying to find something while we were out and about. So, but definitely, I think it's just a constant awakening. I think it's a constant searching. I don't think there's an end goal. I think it's the path of seeking is what it's all about. So, yeah, I can't wait to talk to Donnie this afternoon, for sure. For sure. Shout out there, everybody in chat. I see we are Walt in the house. What's up, Walt? Sean O'Co cleaning and listening. Diva's here. Good morning, Diva. Lucas, I promise I will get in touch with you probably this weekend to line up some of those things you've been trying to line up for us, my friend. You've been very patient. I hope they are as well. We finally got Dom. We're going to have Donnie, and then we'll have a free calendar to do some of those bookings you're trying to line up for us. So thank you, Lucas, for that. Voynit, good morning. Glad you're here. Robert Page in the house. I'm going to attempt this last name the way we say it here, Janet Gaucher, but I know that's not how you probably say it where you're from. Diva, I said that already, didn't I? Who am I missing? JJ's here. Nuka-Cola's here. Ah, man, my such a slow computer. The computer build's coming, I promise. Liz, the Iron Maiden. Good morning, Liz. How are you? If I missed anybody, I think I did, but I'll catch you when I see you again. D'Angelo's in the house. Good morning, D'Angelo.
So when do you expect that processor, Walt?
I've got a date, but I think it's the 16th. If not, it's the 18th. I'll have to look at my phone, which is actually not handy. I don't know. I must have laid it down before I ran in here.
So this time next week?
Yep, this week. I mean, next weekend I'll probably be full build, is what I figure. Hopefully. It seemed like it. Oh, yes. I see I pronounced it correctly from Janet there. So glad to hear. Let me know what part of Louisiana you grew up in, Janet, if you don't mind me knowing. So you might be home people. Anyway, sorry. But yeah, it should be here next week. I've already got the table is cleaned off again. It had kind of acquired a few extra piles of unwrapped presents, but I put a big push to the wrapping frenzy to get my table clean so I can make my build happen again. So I'm excited. I'm really like I've never done this. I'm excited about the challenge. I know I can do this because I used to work inside video games. I know all the components are different, but similar. I've watched many, many videos, including videos of people really screwing up their computers, assembling them. So yeah, I think I've got this. I know I do. It's the filling it up with all the goodies is the part I'm still not clear on. Is all the, after you get it built. Hey, I see a call coming in on my computer from a gentleman named Nuka Cola. Nuka, I'm gonna drop you into this call. If you will hang up that call and get you on with us, sir. It'll be hard for me to do it the way you've done it, so just give me a minute to call you back. All right, it's coming right now.
Sweet.
So did anybody happen to see SpaceX's little debacle that they had?
Oh,
that was priceless.
I saw a headline. What did they call it? Like an unplanned immediate disassembly?
Well, if you watch the video, they jumped around like a lot. Like when it was coming down, they show it and it's going in, and then all of a sudden it flips to a new clip where there's this thing just sitting there that explodes. Jaron was covering it last night. Him and Dave and Alex were sitting there going over it, and yeah, they're as bad as NASA. They really are. It's the same. It's just the same nonsense with a different label on it. Yeah, they were actually watching a NASA fanboy watch it and his reaction to it. But no, it's the same old story, folks. Now, guess what this means? We're gonna have to push it back years. We can't go to the moon till 2030. Yeah, they haven't said that yet, but I know it's coming.
SSDD. Well, I attempted to call you back, Nuka, if you're listening. So you're now in the call. If you see that little join call now on your phone or your computer, join in. Make sure you add with the computer sound or whatever device it is, and you should be here. So, but I have you in there. And shout out again to Janet, growing up right down the road, literally. St. Martinville. I used to live in the middle of a pasture in Cade. And if you're from St. Martinville, you know Cade. You just thought St. Martinville was small. Cade literally has a red light, and that's about it. That's about it. And now a big recreational center that got built after I moved right across from where I used to live, which is really crazy and would have been great to have while I was there with all my little remote controlled cars and stuff that I tore up out there in the pastures. But anyway, home people.
Yeah, I've been hanging with Janet the last couple of days. She's been over at the house helping Cammie pick out furniture and all that good stuff.
Really? So home people made it over there. See, now that's encouraging.
It can be done, Walt.
It can be done. You can get out of the swamp. I didn't know. I thought once you were stuck in the mud, you were deep in there. That's crazy. That's crazy. Well, Janet, I'm glad to hear you're getting to know another family member of mine. One day I might be able to shake your hand, give you a hug, whatever.
You make some mean cornbread, Walt. You would love
Oh shit! Hometown cornbread. I'm about it.
So there's some new physicists that are rewriting Einstein's nonsense. It upends space and time, yada, yada, yada. They're saying fragments of energy may be the fundamental building blocks of the universe. Yeah, no shit. You're just now getting this, guys? They still don't connect it, though, because they say that there is still a vacuum of space, but that these large bits of energy are just kind of floating around out there. Something like that. I'm not going to get too deep into it. I know it's all BS, but they're saying that it's going to revolutionize their understanding of, yeah, they're putting electricity in space. But that doesn't work, guys. Show me the experiment.
Electricity
No more
is
theories.
space. I think Nuka's here. I don't know if we can hear him though.
I can hear you guys. Hello.
What's up,
There
bro?
he is.
There he is.
We
What's up,
did it.
Luca?
How's it going, guys?
Pretty
How you
good. How
doing,
you
man?
doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing great. I dropped an article in chat. I thought it was interesting. Our Chief Justice of all people here in South Africa decided to do a prayer at a hospital. And he said that if there's any vaccine with the mark of the beast, I pray that God destroys it. And the media's running with it.
Oh, jeez.
Drop it in this chat if you don't mind, sir, and I'll definitely have it handy. I'm just trying to back scroll, and I'm going to stop because I'll get lost.
I reckon this guy's going to lose his job pretty soon.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
Well, yeah, it
Yeah,
seems like
so-
all these men of high positions, that are in these pharmaceutical companies and, government healthcare administration, if they don't tote the line, if they speak out against it at all, they're gone. They're the former now. And there's a lot of these going on all over the plane. There's a lot of these. I saw the guy who invented the PCR test, calling Fauci an idiot last night. Saying, I've asked the guy to come on and debate in front of all the students here. He's a Nobel laureate, biochemist, something or other. He's like, this guy doesn't understand any of this stuff. He's an administrator. That's it.
He's also a goner then.
What was that, Nuka?
I said he's also a goner then.
Yeah. But yeah,
Drop the article there in the chat here on YouTube for everybody. I'll drop it on the TFR chat as well. Shout out over there on the TFR chat to Boy Solomon, who may or may not be there. And I see Liz is hanging out on that end as well. Good to see you over there, Liz. It gets kind of lonely at the TFR chat sometimes. But yeah, I'll drop the article. Everybody can check it out. But you're right. A lot of the people are coming out to say that, this is all a bunch of crap, truly. And it's heartening in one point because, the word is getting out there. But as with all things, as soon as they go against the grain, whatever they have in their past or whatever it gets brought up. I don't even follow. There's a few actresses on some shows out there. I don't know the names of the shows or the actresses, but I noticed they got in a lot of trouble lately because they're standing up and speaking out and putting out anti-vax videos on their social media accounts, and then suddenly they're supposed to be fired from whatever Star Wars crap show that's on right now. I don't know. I don't watch the stuff. I just know that these people are standing up and saying, hey, there's something going on here. This is not the truth. And it's good to see that some people are willing to lose their positions or their esteemed money or whatever it gets them to stand up and say some true thing.
Well, this is all coming on the heels of there's talk now of going back to a hard lockdown where all the jobs were lost and all of that stuff. So they want to go back to it because apparently now we're in a second wave of COVID. Even though it is actually our summer here. So
Yeah, I saw an article.
I was
with
asking a
Josh.
friend last night if anybody he knew had the flu this year, or even last year during the flu season. And he was like, no, I hadn't really heard that. I know somebody that said they had COVID. I'm like, right, but nobody you know has had the flu, right? And they're like, no. I'm like, okay, so what's your theory on that? Because he's definitely a tower of the line. And so what's your theory on that? Well, I guess, everybody's being real careful, wearing their masks, wearing their gloves, cleaning their hands. I'm like, okay, so it stopped the flu, but we can't stop the idiocy with it. Okay, cool. And he just kind of looked at me like, oh, shit. Like, oh, shit. Oh, goodness.
Well, we're coming up on a break right about now.
We are.
We certainly are. We should have break music kicking in any minute. You are listening to the Ironworx. It looks like we might even be joined by somebody on the other side of the break. Getting a full house this morning. Anyway, stick around. We'll be back right after these briefest of messages.
Real people, real radio. Wherever you are, make it TFR. Truth Frequency Radio.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Beautiful day. It's a beautiful day.
And welcome back. Second half of the first half of the Ironworx kicking off right now. Josh Waldzak hanging out with our good friend Ukuleleko Duma, hanging out in South Africa. And we may even have somebody from Florida on the line.
Is he from Florida, though?
Well, he's in Florida by way of Jersey, I suppose. Jonathan from Jersey in the house once again. I thought you were supposed to be sleeping in these days, Jonathan. Trying to get all your 8 hours. Oh, he's muted. He'll be fine. He's probably asleep already. He probably fell back asleep. See, there he is.
Looks like he did.
Sleeping.
Yeah.
Yep.
We got a sleepy sign. Oh my goodness. So Nuka, tell us something good, man. Tell us something positive. We need to hear it today for sure. Is there any sign that the craziness is going to let up where you are?
No. Sorry.
That's not good news.
I wish I had good news for you, but it seems like everything is just gonna go back to the way it was, and more jobs are gonna get lost. I will say though, that the people are saying, if we do go back to a hard lockdown again, that they're gonna find all the government employees, like the councillors, the mayors, that sort of thing, and they're gonna go and stay at their houses, because they won't be able to provide for their families. So they're going to track them down and basically invade their homes and stay there, because they're the ones responsible for locking down the country if they go about that route again.
Well, I know here in one of our most liberal back places in the country, California, Josh shared this article with us actually. A sheriff has stepped up and said, this is nonsense. I'm not going to be giving out tickets for people not wearing masks. I'm not going to be going and telling people they have to close down their business. This is killing our country, our economy.
Wasn't there a sheriff standing up when this started? Like when I was first getting to Oregon and the madness was really starting to kick off, when I was there with Mom. Seems like we shared the story with some sheriff somewhere standing up in front of a crowd saying, yeah, fuck this, masks are stupid. Am I remembering it wrong?
I do vaguely remember some audio that I played a couple times with the sheriff speaking out against them and the whole lockdown order. But I'll be damned if I can remember.
I do. I think I actually remember the video that I found for the guy standing there in front of the little crowd. So, Texas, seems like. Yeah, home people.
Sounds about right.
Well, Texas.
Yeah, I don't know how things are over there, Nuka, but sheriffs here are like the law of the land of their county. They could tell the federal government to get out.
Nice.
They're like the top of the food chain when it comes to preserving the Constitution here in the U.S.
Yeah, well, all our soldiers do is beat up people.
Well, there's some of that too.
Nuka, did you get a new mic, a new phone, something?
Yeah, I have a new phone, which I'm trying to use. It's being really funny with me. And also, I've got a sore throat, so to most people, that means I've got COVID-19.
Oh, no. No, I'm just kidding.
Dang it, I gotta go get my mask on.
I can hear that. That makes sense, because it didn't sound like you at all. I would have thought you were somebody else who just hijacked Ukuleleko's Skype account and was impersonating you. But I can hear like a swollen glands, a sore throat, kind of constricted.
Yeah, it also means I can't go donate blood, even though they've been pestering me to come and donate.
Have you ever tried golden milk?
No, what's
Is that
golden
a thing
milk?
in your country? It's like you take milk, you warm it over a low flame, you put turmeric, honey, black pepper, cinnamon, maybe some ginger. I'll have to look up the ingredients because I haven't been sick. It probably, hell, I don't know. You guys on here may know the last time I was sick because I probably told you when I had a sore throat. I don't know. It's been at least 3 or 4 years since we've been on this show, probably. So yeah, it's pretty miraculous. I'll send you a recipe. And
Please
we used to
do.
have a recipe that we had copy pasted in our show description for the longest time, and then we just kind of lost it, and it's in there somewhere. I'll find it because it was one of the better ones. Yeah, it relieves inflammation. The warm milk, of course, with the release of the what's the hormone? I can't remember. Anyway, it helps you sleep. It loosens up all that crap. It helps the inflammation. It's good stuff. It really is.
Yeah, I don't know if you have access to a golden seal over there, but it's just a plant, and they dry out the roots and crush it up and put it into a capsule, and it's one of nature's best probiotics. They'll give them
Never
to
seen
older
it.
people over here to boost their immune system, and they give them to people sometimes when they're on an antibiotic, because the antibiotic will destroy your biotics as well. So they give you this to boost it.
Yeah, I don't think we have anything like that here. But as far as the recipe goes, I have honey and milk and turmeric and cinnamon.
That's cool.
and a
I'll
little
find
bit of
one for
ginger.
you. I'll find you one and drop it real quick. I think the ginger. I think is one of those like you don't have to use it. That's more of the stomach area kind of help. I mean, it does help some with inflammation as well, but I'll find you one that it tells you that as well. That as long as you got the turmeric and that black pepper, the black pepper really is the key to get that turmeric to really work. In fact, if you didn't know, black pepper with turmeric is amazing. It really increases the absorption of it. In fact, I found one, can't remember the name, or I would prop them up. U Theory, that's their name. They put the black pepper in with the turmeric curcumin, and or curcumin, or whatever the fuck it is. And
Called when the turmeric has the black pepper, it's called biberin or something.
something, they do have a name for it. You're correct. That sounds like it might be it. But it definitely works better to me than the one I used to just grab off the shelf at the local whatever store here. So it's a lot more expensive, but it uses a lot more of the actual plant. It doesn't just use the leaf. It uses all the plant. Like in the list, it tells you all the different parts of the plant that it uses. So it's more of a synergistic approach to the turmeric than just grabbing some spice off the spice rack and throwing it in some capsules. But
It's just weird that I've just gone jogging, and when I was out in the sun jogging and my body's warm, I don't feel any pain. My throat feels fine. My voice is back to normal. But as soon as I cool down and I'm back in the house or something, it just goes back to the way it was.
do you have central heating?
No.
Okay, because that's another thing that will destroy you in the wintertime is central heating. Sleeping with a central heating vent on in your room, or really any kind of heating source in your room while you're sleeping, is horridously bad for you. It dries out all your mucous membranes, lets anything, dust or any kind of dander or anything really get in there easier because there's no mucus to prevent it. It's bad. It's really bad. That comes from my mom, who was a respiratory therapist. And once I stopped sleeping under a heater, probably the last time I got sick was when I had to sleep at someone else's house under a heater. So I'm not a doctor, nor do I play one on TFR.
And change your heater filter every 6 months.
Indeed, sir.
But
Just like
sometimes
that AC filter.
Yeah.
late at night on Saturday night, you might find Walt in the bathroom with a stethoscope in his ears, talking to himself in the mirror, pretending to be a doctor. But only then. That's the only time Walt pretends to be a doctor.
Disclaimer.
Disclaimer. Never here.
You're not supposed to tell them about Dr. J. Hamilton. No, I'm kidding.
DDS,
Hey, so
MD.
listen, guys, I've got a question for all of you.
Shoot.
So my girlfriend and I have been listening to a lot of Crow lately, and we've just gone around the part where there's the second sun in the sky. That the sun you can't see without that telescope and what is it called, a doubler or something. that you put on the end of
hydrogen
it.
hydrogen alpha filter double stack.
Yeah, that thing with the second sun. And we were talking. I just wanted to know, or just hear your ideas. What do you think the second sun is, or basically what is on that other side? Because we pretty much agree that there's probably a dome, whether it's invisible or whatever, but there's some kind of dome, and there's obviously us on the inside and something else on the outside. So what is on the outside, and what is that second sun?
I don't even know what the first sun is. It's a really good question. I suppose it could be part of all the machinations of what lights up the plane, I suppose.
I've wrestled with this one too, as well, Josh, Nuka. It's like, one of those key, like, okay, if it's not a fake ball a gazillion miles away, then what the hell is it? I don't know. I don't have a clue. I don't really have even a theory anymore. I had a few back. Like you say, I thought it might just be another what is floating around out there, if it is. But then once I really put that to, mulling it over, the whole star in the jar concept, I believe liquid fully is the secret to all of this. Liquid below, liquid above. We're in the middle of some liquid. Air is frickin' liquid. I don't care what you call it. Star in a jar. Sonoluminescence. That's to me what stars are. Where that fits with our sun or not, I don't now think that anymore, especially after I read the Adam and Eve books that were taken out of the history books, out of the Apocrypha, if you will. So the fact that there was no sun, and then suddenly a sun appeared and flipped them out completely, terrified them, leads me to believe that it's not a natural part of where we are, that it might have been put here by someone, somewhere. I don't know. Same thing with the moon. There are many histories saying there was no moon, and then suddenly there it was. And when you really look at that bad boy, it sure looks like something somebody put together. Girders and the whole 9 yards. So I don't know. I mean, who's that? Dollard? Eric Dollard talks about the sun being a transformer pulling in energy from another place. That seems as logical to me as anything else.
Yeah, but he's working on a heliocentric model. If he
Yeah,
would
but
put it a
still.
lot closer and the moon the same size, I think there'd be a lot more interactions with the moon and the sun in their models if they were working on a more accurate description of what this place really is. I think the sun and the moon are definitely united in whatever dance is going on up there. Something's happening. Transfer of energy, I don't know. Electrically and chemically, there's interactions taking place now. That's why I love chatting with Lucas.
You
LC
were
King
talking-
has got a lot of these ideas on how this is working.
You
But I
were
have no
talking
clue.
about the
second sun,
mass being equal to the electromagnetic attraction idea at some point. Was that on our
Well,
Tuesdays?
the more mass something has, the more electric potential it can hold.
Potential. Right. That was it.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I'm asking is we were talking about the fact that, if the moon was not here at some point and then was placed there in some place above us that is able to keep it in some type of suspended area, liquid, whatever, it had to get there somehow, and it had to have been a trial and error thing. And if they had it too close, then you get the electromagnetic sparks, which would have caused what looks like craters on the surface that's facing us, because they're definitely not holes put there by rocks flinging into the surface. And the water idea of the flooding it would have caused and the uproar it would have caused and all that. So add that to the idea of the electromagnetic potential in the mass of it. And
Well, yeah, the fact that you find magnetite all around these giant craters where they say meteors hit, electrical discharges definitely took place there. Very, very large electrical discharges. Huge.
Walter, you were saying when you were describing the moon, if it was too close or too far, you were talking about flooding. Are you saying that you still think that the moon has something to do with the tides?
If electromagnetic attraction is a thing and water is electromagnetic in a nature, then yeah, I do believe that it could have attracted or affected water in some way. Now, whether it's what causes our tides or not, I doubt that very seriously. I think that's just the natural cycle of this machine that we're in, this electromagnetic iron realm that we're in.
Well, it's really hard when all the data that we get comes from people we know we cannot trust. That's why I take a lot of this stuff with a grain of salt. They'll show us the magnetic field from, the AE point. And we can recreate that with magnets, show the same field and all that kind of, but is that even accurate, what they're showing us? Now, they do have to tell us things, they have to give us the truth, but I don't know. I mean, they lie about so much of the model. Which parts of the model are they actually being honest about?
Right. Well,
So
that's
it makes
why
it hard. We really need to get out there and start measuring all these things for ourselves. The magnetic field lines, the magnetic field, the electric field, how strong it is. I don't know if it really goes up 100 volts per meter all the way up.
Good
How
morning.
do I find this?
There he is.
Good. I just want to say good morning. I don't want to interrupt Zach, and you have a guest as well.
Good morning, sir. I saw you were having some struggle there. I kept seeing weird symbols under your name, like you couldn't get the mute acting right, sir. Welcome in.
I was stuck on in the bathroom this morning.
Cool deal. Well, you're here. Glad to have you, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, your
This is-
stomach.
But the whole idea of things being lied, like we're being lied to so much by the ones who are giving us the info, definitely. And that's why I kind of harkened back to that idea of the cultures that say there was a time, there wasn't a moon here, because what benefit do they have to lie in their, ancient myths of what happened? What's their benefit? They don't get 50 million a day,
Yeah, but all those people lived by astronomical events. They lived by the stars. They lived by the changes in nature.
Yes.
Whether they attributed it to a god or anything else in their religious or spiritual beliefs, but why wouldn't they know?
Yeah, the
something
fact
as
that they
obvious as
say
the
it happened, yeah. I mean, you would notice, this big, huge, bright object all of a sudden
Let me
just
ask you-
there.
Let me ask you a question, right? So if you're etching shit on a wall in a cave, which is a pain in the ass as it is, right, with a torch and whatever, are you going to sit there and post stuff like the National Enquirer or the Onion, or are you going to leave something that's like substantial on that wall? Like you got to make your mark, so to speak. You're going to tell of real events that were like, life altering or changing that you passed down through the generations, like the Great Flood, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of people say the moon wasn't even there before the flood.
When we say there, do we mean turned on the LED screen, or are we talking about? No.
Yeah,
I'm not kidding
like
around,
you
but-
couldn't see it, it just wasn't there. It wasn't a light in the sky.
But I
And
gotta
then
be
all of a
honest,
sudden, when the moon was coming
Maybe.
in, it made the flood.
there is something to the fact,
And
right?
then
We
it
know that
moves back.
we're in a spatial field. Let's call it a field, if not a dimension, where we do have gravity based on weight, right? We've seen the interaction of objects that have a heavier mass versus a lighter mass. Okay, so whatever this Earth plane is, because it is a plane and it is still terra firma, right? We dig into the Earth, right? We're in a tank of some sort, but the external system of it, what's outside perhaps the firmament, could be a thing of like a series of countermeasures, right? Let's say each planet that we're looking at planet are similar to like weights that like when you get your tire balanced on a car, and they have to put those little metal weights at higher speeds.
Yeah, the little lead.
The little lead things, or pewter, whatever the fuck whatever they're made out of. And so, what if that's the case with Earth? Maybe the perturbations of the planet, let's say it's not necessarily.
That's great.
Well, no, I'm saying it to keep it stable for like it's wobbling, right? Let's say it is actually a disc shape, right? There is a spin factor because we know spin exists in atoms. We know spin exists in many things, right? We use spin all the time. Like I said, tires on a car. We use spin to counterbalance, gyroscopic effect. We know this is a fact. We know these things work, right? And we've applied laws to them. So now let's say the Earth plane does spin for whatever reason. Okay, I don't know how it applies here because maybe if the Earth was just static, right? It's kind of like when you have spin on, remember in 2001 A Space Odyssey, they had that big space station. And because it's spinning, it gives it an artificial gravity. Sorry, so maybe there's a buoyancy. Like some people say gravity is buoyancy, right? And without like counterweights and measures, like when you go under the water, if you don't have that belt on, when you go scuba diving, what happens? You get brought to the surface to the atmosphere we're in. But in order to go to the initial deep atmospheres before it starts pulling you down, you need those weights around you, correct? So basically what it is maybe all the basis of our science and data is off because we're basing it on a globe model, right, with different perspectives. We're basing it on the fact that space is an atmosphere without water, but like of no air, right, and that there's a vacuum. You see what I'm saying? Like we've been given the wrong data, and all of a sudden, if you take those out and put the right equations in, the whole model, all of it makes sense. Am I making any sense, or I sound nutty now?
Yeah, Electric Universe. Those guys are so close. The Thunderbolts project. If all they have to do is put it between two capacitor plates and say that's the whole universe right here, and their model would be like perfect.
The only reason I hate talking about this, by the way, is because people get so hung up on the semantics of things. So, like, if you start talking about gravity, well, there is no gravity. Well, then you're a jerk off. Then what language do you want me to use to have a conversation with you? Because I get the same thing in the New Age spiritual community.
Things fall to the ground. Okay, it's not Einsteinian gravity, it's not Newtonian gravity, but it's been around before Newton was even born.
Here's another one I love.
They've had names for this stuff forever.
Here's another one I love in the spiritual community. Everything's an illusion. Seriously? Yeah, this doesn't exist. Okay, close your eyes. Close your eyes. Do you trust me? Yeah. Now here comes a bat. I'm swinging it at your fucking head.
That's like Rafiki.
Tell me.
Yeah.
Huh?
It's like Rafiki from The Lion King.
Well, it's like
in the past. It doesn't matter.
And that's another one. Oh my God, these idiots like Osho and all these other idiots, right? They'll say, all the pain in your mind is there's no past and there's no future, so all the pain you create is in your mind. And I'm like, dude, let me kill your son right now. Give me your little baby right there. Okay, ready? Break its neck. Now listen, it's in the past. You don't have to worry. See that? Look, I just freed you up. You can go travel the world. There is no child. The child was in the past. You shouldn't feel any pain. It's just a conjure in your mind. Like, what kind of bullshit is that? The whole of your existence. Look, if there is no such thing as time,
you cannot forget your emotions.
No, it's more than that.
That's horrible. That's like satanic almost.
No, but there is no. Here's the thing, Zach. There is no time, right? We think of terms in linear time, and we try to get away from our past. That's why these politicians and everybody else can get away from things. That's why they say there's a statute of limitation. They frame it that way in order to excuse themselves. All you have is the now moment. It's one big now moment from the minute you're born to the minute you're dead, and you're responsible for all of it. Think of it as a sphere of influence. Okay? So if something happens to you in your past or your future, you can't marginalize somebody's pain or experience or anything like that. You can't marginalize their passion. You see what I'm saying? It's an existence. You're in an existence. You're in a locale. I'm sorry. This just pisses me off. These people that are, look, I'm not a deconstructionalist. That's why, although I've never been a proponent of the flat earth, and I've done that, I told you, I've tried to maintain the neutrality to accept everybody's point of view. Even when I used to have, what's his name? What was that? Lord Stephen Christ. People used to laugh at me, and Mark used to laugh at me, right? You have to understand something. That guy was such a force in terms of him being so driven in his perspective. Again, we're talking about perspectives, right? That there had to be an element of truth that set him on that tangent, okay? A lot of genius and madman are like of the same cloth. That guy was a little bit of both, but unfortunately the madman...
Think about the fact that it took a lot of us to get flat earth in everybody's mind. It
Absolutely.
took one day to get everybody talking about the freaking concave earth. Really,
no, think about it. Yeah, what was the difference? Like it was amount of force energy plus passion
he had
plus...
some energy for sure.
That's what I'm saying. And what about these enigmatic figures that pop up on the scene or on the radar that all of a sudden, like Oprah's promoting or something like that? Like John of God, right? She's now, she's got, she was wrong about that guy. A lot of people were wrong about John of God from Brazil. It turns out he was like into child trafficking and all that. But for 30 some odd years, right? Same thing goes with that yoga guy, Bikram yoga. Turns out he was like running a sex cult, you know, and you find out all these things about these people. And it doesn't mean that they're necessarily right, it just means that they're more impassioned than somebody else. But the point is, if somebody is so driven with that point of view, and then you can get a following, you know, you can get such an energy behind it. People are not stupid, right? We just lack certain education and knowledge. But in our gut, we know that our gut doesn't lie to us. We all have that feeling if we really allow ourselves to tap into that gut feeling, okay? And there is something here. There's like a wedge in our mind, like a splinter that has us know, a lot of us, that, yeah, this flat Earth, I still want to call it a concept. I have to apologize to you guys, only because we don't have laws or a worldwide, it's not our model. We still live by a globe model for the most part. The world does live by a globe model. Let's just say that. That's fact, right? You would accept that.
Getting ready to hit the break here, Jonathan.
I'm sorry. I
does
didn't mean
that
to go
thought.
so long on this.
No,
I'm saying
yeah,
this.
dude, I like hearing you be passionate. It's awesome.
As the mass
Better than
consciousness
coffee.
changes, as the mass consciousness changes, they will be coming to people like us for help, for, you know, to help lead them back, you know, to a baseline.
Reality.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
That's how we are going to the break. We're talking to Jonathan from Jersey and Nuka from Africa, and we will talk more after this. Ironworks. Man, I'm warm.
Wake up! Wake up! Wake up!
What is dark matter?
Okay, we don't know.
That's great. That's why it's called dark.
It's exactly.
Everyone knows all reputable information comes from random people on the internet. Tell me things, internet. The earth is flat. It's like school in your hand.
Okay, dark matter is something we do not know what it is. We believe the dark matter is there, but we have never detected it. Well, what I'm afraid of course, is that there is no dark matter out there.
There was one?
There is no dark matter out there. We need to think really hard.
Do it. Play it. Do it.
What happened? Welcome back to the Ironworx. I'm so confused.
Hey, your guest here had a good argument or idea in chat. I'd love for him to express it.
I was trying to play catch up in chat, so thank you. Please explain, Nuka.
Oh no, I was listening to that story of these ancient cultures that say that the moon, just sort of appeared one day. And my thinking was maybe the moon was always there. It's just that it took them, the collective consciousness, where as they grew wiser and started to learn things, then they were able to perceive it. That's why they're saying that all of a sudden it just appeared.
Interesting.
Because if you look back at some of even the videos that we were taking, even 10 years ago, people were taking pictures of sunsets and all of that, and people weren't seeing double suns. But now, as we started learning about sort of the flat Earth and growing our minds and our mindsets to asking questions, all of a sudden now we're seeing these weird things in the sky. There's a second sun, apparently. And if you buy into the Egyptian mythology of Ketu and Rahu, those sort of black orbs that are in the sky that we can't necessarily see, well, we can see that they play maybe a role in terms of the eclipse and stuff. Who's to say that as we grow as humans and get wiser, one day we won't say, oh, look, there's a second moon or there's something else in the sky, because now we can perceive it because we have grown collectively.
Oh, I'd like to comment on that. I'll let you guys have first pass.
I love that a lot.
I already know what I want to.
I kind of saw that idea. Excuse me. Well, let's put the bookmark on that for a second. But the idea of watching, I'm stuck in the consumer world of shopping right now for Christmas. I got a new TV. I haven't had 4K yet. Now I do. And I was watching a video to demonstrate its ooh-ness. And the video took a regular video, well, I guess it took a high def video and showed it to you in each definition, from like literally standard, 720, 1080, HD, 4K, all that. So as it changed in these scenes, all it really did was give you more detail, from like a street scene to like there's a cat on the corner of that post to now see the hair on the cat to now see the gleam in its eyes, that kind of thing. So I think that's part of this, is we're refining our awareness, our
perception.
Yeah, for sure. I like that, Nuka, a lot. Go ahead, John.
You talking to me?
Yep.
No, John Savage popped in. Welcome to the show. Yes, you.
Oh, wow. Well, no, I mean, I had done it's interesting you bring up the TV analogy, because I had spoken about something called the mosaic mesh effect. I can't think of the guy's name off the top of my head, Marshall something. And he talks about television and the broadcast that's being broadcast and why it is. And it does affect our consciousness, just like we know about subliminals and other things that are broadcast, right? Yeah. It actually lulls kids into an alpha state away from the beta theta that you get from reading. So it messes up your concentration skill, it bypasses your frontal lobes, and then you're literally in the the boob tube. You're kind of like mesmerized. So it's not that your kids can't hear you when you're calling them; they're literally mesmerized by that frequency. Now, here's the thing. How do you say your name again properly, sir?
Uncle Leko.
All right, so here we got to come up with a better name than that. I'm
Nuka.
Jonathan from Jersey. I know
You
I
can
don't want
call
to
him Nuka.
mess up your name.
I call him Nuka.
Oh, Nuka.
Yep.
Nuka's cool.
I know he
Nuka's
hates
cool.
it, but I do. He calls me Flatty, so I get it back.
All right, so he's like Nuka Cola, like from Fallout. Nuka. Okay, I like
Exactly.
that.
Or Duma.
Is that all right with you, sir? Can man call you
Exactly.
Nuka?
Yes, it's all good with me. Carry on.
Thank you, sir. So what I'm thinking is this, and he brings up a good point, and this is a new thought to me. So we know that the sun, right, fuels us all, gives us vitamin D, and basically when we eat plants, if you're a vegan, you're just basically eating concentrated light, right? And then if, of course, if an animal eats a plant, you're eating a different concentration of that light, but in a different form now. In meat, it's a lower density. What if we were actually light beings, the same way you capture fireflies, right? Let's say our souls are contained in these physical bodies, but it's really hard to contain a soul in a 3D physical construct. Now, I'm saying this from a spiritual perspective, because all the people I'm around always talk about raising your vibrations, moving into a 5D existence, right? You guys believe in a concept of a 5-dimensional existence, that perhaps we're raising our vibrations, the Kali Yuga, we're going into a higher plane of existence, whatever, consciousness and evolution. What if this moon, maybe this is the secret, people said that they've actually detected there's different frequency to the moon, different light, different properties. What is it, colder in the shade or hotter in the shade?
Colder in the shade. I mean, colder in the moonlight than in the shade. Yep.
Okay, so what if the light fuels us, right? Gives us growth, gives us everything, right? And what happens when you have people that are sitting in the dark? They get pale, they get, they start to diminish, just like plants, right? They start to shrink and shrivel. What if the moon was brought in to temper our energy, to keep us under control so we don't express right into light beings? What if it's like when Superman, when he's exposed to the red sun and he becomes human? Think about this.
Absolutely, sir.
Is it that far-fetched now?
When I said, let me put a bookmark in that, I was headed down that path. We kind of touched on that too with
you and I are so alike.
magazine.
Come on, I even knew your favorite book that time. That blew
Yes,
my
you
mind.
do,
So
sir.
you and I
Yes,
are the same
we
frequency.
still need to talk to old Dave here in the near future.
I might get him on. I got to call.
Dude, I would like, yeah, that would be the most amazing thing. We're talking about David Gerald. Anyway, just don't get started. Don't get me sidetracked.
Okay.
The idea that
So what do you guys think about this idea then?
I mean, it says it in the Bible somewhere that your days will now be 120, basically, because I'm tired of your bullshit. So your days will now be 120 years. Now, how do you change someone's freaking life without changing their whole frequency? Not just with food and all the crap that we're all done with now. Bring the moon in, and it's like
To knock somebody down from 900 years to
kryptonite floating in
120.
the sky. What? I'm sorry.
Right. To knock somebody down from 900 years old, like Methuselah and stuff, down to 120. I mean, that's like, they weren't doing gene expression. They weren't affecting the telomerase, but what if they could do it through light, like you said?
Fucking A. Kryptonite, buddy. Kryptonite.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's a whole bunch of folks out there that say it is part of the whole idea of our reincarnation cycle. That is the light that people are attracted to, that keeps them
moon,
here.
It putrefies things, causes them to rot. It decays them. It ages them. Those just the frequencies. It doesn't have to be the moonlight. You're just underneath the moon and the frequencies, and it's breaking you down. You can no longer, live as long as we used to live now.
Yeah, but we know there's like even those plant lights that people use. What are they called? Grow lights. I guess people use them for marijuana or anything really indoors. Right? They don't cast off regular light that you would read by, right? What are they, in a red light spectrum or something? Grow lights, grow lamps.
A lot of them are full
there's all
spectrum.
different kinds.
Yeah, high
There's
pressure
all-
sodium, halogen, LED. Depends on what you're into, I guess.
But no, they do elicit a response from plants to make them grow better by being in that certain light spectrum. Is that correct? Or-
Yes, you have to change
Absolutely.
the spectrum
I
generally.
mean, we don't know anything about this. Who is this? Prank caller.
I saw it on TV.
I'm being silly. You know that.
I am too. Go ahead, man. But yeah, the different frequencies of light is how it all works.
Right.
You change the light cycle to flower. Oh, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Bro, what are you talking about? Did I tell you somebody sent me 10
Tomatoes.
grams?
You did,
As a
actually.
gift? I didn't mean to mention that on air. But anyway, let's go ahead. Let's go forward. Is forward still a direction on the flat earth?
Yes.
I don't want to get in a fight.
It depends if you're going east or west, right?
Well, no. What are you talking about?
Still going forward.
Are you talking about from a human being's point of view, or are you talking about science, the study?
Well, I know what I was driving with my gay friend in Miami, or no, in Fort Lauderdale, and I said, it's right there, straight ahead. And he goes, you mean forward? And I'm like, ooh. Anyway.
But it's,
No, but-
I couldn't find my mute
but no,
button
you
quick
see the-
enough
see
for
the-
the rim shot for you. Damn
But
it.
you see the problem we have with semantics, and nobody look at what all these light companies from GE on down. Okay, they make these light bulbs, and they make them in a certain light spectrum. But you think somebody would do a true analysis of light, even if they just did monitor a plant? Let's say we just use a plant with electrodes like they do, like that those EEG things, and then change the light spectrum, right, to see what that plant's growth cycle. Now let's introduce moonlight. Let's put the plant out in the equivalent of moonlight. What are you making a face for? Oh, something different. Oh, you're Christmas shopping. I got it.
I just noticed that there's 2 thumbs down on our show. That's all. And we're only an hour in. And I was going to put in chat, what the hell?
It's probably the garbage reception.
My face.
It's that OBS.
Jonathan from Jersey's pontificating. Let's
Probably,
get back
probably
to
about the time you popped in. I'm just messing with
yeah.
you.
Let's just talk to Nuka. Go back to Nuka.
Oh, carry on talking, guys. I'm trying to learn and keep up here.
Oh, I am too, dude.
Oh, wait. You guys.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, though. You were saying introduce it to moonlight. It's always been in the moonlight. Always. I mean, just because the direct light of the moon isn't hitting it doesn't mean it's not getting the moon's frequencies. Always.
I was going to ask that earlier, and I got sidetracked. Do y'all think it's a different frequency when it's lit up versus when it's dark? That's what I was wondering, too.
Yeah, it's always raining all these.
As far as negative versus positive, though, I mean, like, because we were talking about the putrefaction idea in the moon.
No. It could be that the moon like is always broadcasting the same frequency, but like you know how like you can only put certain plants out in so much of sunlight, direct sunlight, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So the moon is kind of like calibrated, right? That's why it goes through that 28-day cycle. Where it's a little bit almost like taking medicine. Sometimes you got to take, you know what I'm saying, at different intervals, you have to take a different amount.
Right.
So maybe the moon is regulated, and then every now and then when you put it to full power, what happens? Do you remember Johnny Carson back in the 70s? And he would always mention that and even police have noticed this, the craziest amount of crime and everything like that, and Johnny Carson's audience used to go ballistic whenever it was a full moon. So imagine if they left the moon on all the time. It's like giving somebody too much.
Anybody working ER can tell you full moon is real.
ER is always packed on a full moon. So what if the heavens, what if they turned on the full moon for a full 30 days straight? How would we react? And maybe that's when the zombie apocalypse happens. You notice that in the movies
that happens. Maybe that's
How many apocalyptic movies have you seen where the moon is literally visible, floating closer to the earth all the time in the sky? You know what I'm saying? Like
portray the moon in movies so wrong. They'll show a full moon, and then it'll be 3 days later, and they look, but there's another full moon. It's like, what? You don't have full moons, you know.
So what if the idea of whenever it said, and again, this is all just me speculating, but I know it's been said that in the end days, we will not be able to die. We'll beg for death, but death won't come. And what if that's tied to the frequency of this moon being closer even more to mess with our frequency?
Well, let me ask you this, going back to ancients, right, and our ancestors. They didn't story tell to make tall tales, right? They didn't tell the stories about, I caught a fish this big. Right? You never seen a caveman on a wall with his arms outstretched saying, I caught a fish this big. The point is, why did they come up with words like lunacy? Why did they come up with concepts that people turn into werewolves because of the full moon? Why would they even come up with the imagination to write these kind of stories and narratives? There's something to it, but we're not looking at
without a doubt. Without a doubt. Oh, wow. And then Lucas in chat just said the moon also being associated with fertility and feminine cycles and things like that. Yeah.
So again, we're talking about growth cycles like plants and a thing. This moon affects all these things, including, like you said, periodic cycles in women. So it's like there's something to it, man. Without the moon, you can't control us, I guess. So now our mission is we have to blow up the moon. Forget the flat Earth. Let's just blow up the moon. Maybe that's keeping us in prison.
I don't know about all that.
Oh, he's all scared. Like they're going to come knocking on your door. Come on, man. NASA's not a military installation.
Space Force.
No, I'm just saying, just even if I had the capabilities, I don't think I would try to blow up the moon.
You wouldn't blow up the moon? I would blow it up in a heartbeat. Just for
I think it serves an important role in this place. But I don't have the right.
I'd blow it up like the Death Star, and people would be like, "Wah!"
I used to bomb womp rats at home.
Super easy, though, I heard.
You could shoot them at 200 meters out, no problem, right?
Yeah.
Jonathan?
Yes, sir.
when you're talking
Very
about
much. We have an on July
containing
this year,
containing
America
us.
What are you
will
doing? Wait, hold on.
the
Walt, our
moon.
guest is trying to talk. What's wrong with you?
So
We have the technology. The time is now. Science can wait no longer. Children are our future. America can, should, must, and will blow up the moon.
You sick bastard.
see now I lost my train of thought because
You
of
don't have to
that.
mock. You don't have to
I
mock.
couldn't help it. I couldn't help it. Y'all just wouldn't leave blowing up the moon alone, so I had to find my favorite clip.
You know, regardless of what you people think of me, I'm still a guest of this show, so you don't have to mock me like that, and you definitely don't have to mock Nuka here. So go ahead,
Oh,
sir.
that is my favorite clip
pardon-
from that show.
pardon
ever.
my,
It's amazing.
rude-
I'm gonna share it with everybody
host here.
in chat.
All right. I got it. I gotta remember now what I wanted to say. You were talking about the moon being like a containment thing for our souls or just humanity as a whole. And what I wanted to ask was, what do you think is happening when there is an eclipse? Because it always seems to be sort of like a negative event. I mean, animals act strangely, just weird things start happening.
Right,
What do you
right.
think is happening when there is an eclipse,
You're talking a solar eclipse or a lunar eclipse?
a lunar eclipse?
So that's where the moon overtakes the sun, correct? That's the lunar one.
That's what they say. We're between the sun and the moon.
Yes.
You know, I don't. Well, again, this is a brand new theory. I never really thought about this concept before your guest. You know, before Nuka said what he said, and then it started to make sense to me. This is the first time I'm expressing this. But if I were to have to look at the two, you know, the fact that the moon would. This is the part that freaks me out. If they're two different sizes and they're two different distances, why the hell would one overlay the other one so perfectly? I mean, like just literally a line like that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's something that I don't understand. So again, if we're talking about frequencies, let's put it this way. What we look at the moon as being, some people look at it as a spherical object. We've only seen one side of it. So I'm still of the theory that it could be concave, like a bowl shape or like a horn,
Absolutely,
almost like a
sir.
bullhorn. So that the depth
Yep.
behind it, the reason why they won't go behind it and film it is because what if it's oblong and it looks like a big like a bullhorn, right? Or like a speaker, like a megaphone. And so in that case, it's kind of like really sending frequencies the same way those energy weapons that the military uses to disperse crowds, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what if the moon is really that way, and what we're looking on the surface is actually the mesh part that actually fires like the horn, okay? And then when the sun gets behind it, and it's in alignment, it's kind of like bursting that horn. You know, it's doing something where it's shooting. If you're saying that, like, you know, your theory of what does it do? How does it have an effect? Maybe the sun amplifies the moon somehow. I don't know. See, because my theory.
You were talking about it, or Nuka was talking about it maybe not being visible until we could see it. Could, you know, make it visible, whatever. There's also the whole idea of Lilith or Rahu and Ketu, these bodies that are also up there that are what causes these eclipses. Because I sat and watched a lunar eclipse with the moon in the sky on one side of me and the sun in the sky on the other side of me. If we're the shadow, what the fuck was I seeing happen? It's not possible.
Well, you know what I'm thinking about that? Here's what I was going to do. I have the time now. I was going to take a white bowl. It has to be white because I want it to simulate the moon, okay? Put it against black paper on the wall and just mount it that way. It would be easier to just mount it on a wall instead of the floor because then I don't cast any shadows on it. And then I'm going to take a light and just simply move that light as if it was the sun in a spherical direction. And the only reason I say spherical is because I still believe that with the dome of the firmament around the flat plane, that the sun is moving in a spherical, it's moving in a circle, right? It's not moving in a straight plane, right? We definitely know the sun moves in a circular fashion. Anyway, it doesn't go over the horizon around the moon. I mean, around the Earth. But as I move the light, if I move the light from the wall, from one side of the wall, so I start flush on the wall, right? So it hits the edge of the bowl. The bowl, looking at it from the front, should be dark, right? It should almost blend with the wall itself if it's white on white. Now, as I move that sun in an arc, 180-degree arc, away from the wall and around the moon, which is my bowl, the edge of that, and I have to do this, of course, in the dark, right? I have to do this in a dark room. The edge of that bowl should create the shadow on the other side of the inner part of the concave, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And so that when it casts it, you're actually seeing a sliver of the moon until it's fully flush. Now it's fully illuminated. There are no shadows. That's your full moon. As the light moves around to the left side, I'm going from right to left in my mind, then it's casting an opposite shadow, which is now the waxing moon. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. There's this thing out there where you take paper and fold it a certain way into this shape, and it's got a printing on the inside so that it looks like a dragon.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Yes. Yeah,
and when you look at it a certain way, it suddenly pops into 3 dimensions. And when you look left and right around it, it is physically moving and looking at you. But
right. So let's make one that
further around. You realize it's actually concave, and you're looking inside of this thing. Same effect with some faces. I've seen they do that with like faces where it looks like somebody's out here, but it's actually a concave bowl face thing.
So wait, do you think is there an artist out there maybe in the audience that can create what I'm thinking and make it concave and then test it with a light and do the same thing?
Maybe creating it
Chris Pontius, maybe Chris Pontius can do it.
Right, that would be perfect with his domes and stuff. But even someone who can in the program and print it up in 3D. That's what I was sitting here thinking
about. That would
be
sick. Hey, listen, I know the Asians are good at like the origami and stuff. No, and I'm not making fun. I'm saying that's their culture. That's those paper dragons, things like that, or the cranes. They can really figure out the geometry for this.
Yep.
Yeah.
They had a festival here where they had hung just thousands of them in trees in the park over here. It was, not here, but in Lafayette. It was beautiful. They were amazing. All different sizes, from really huge ones to little, tiny. How the hell did you fold that with tweezers? It was crazy.
By the way, Nuka, does that somewhat answer your question, or is that not the trajectory of what you were asking?
Hey, I'm taking all answers. I'm just trying to think of it myself, and I'm trying to listen to other people's opinions on this, because truth of the matter is nobody really knows what's going on up there, so we can only speculate.
By the way, during the break, did you guys read our friend the disclaimer about Jonathan from Jersey? I should tell you this, Nuka. The opinions expressed by Jonathan are not necessarily opinions expressed by Ironworx, TFR, or anybody affiliated with the show.
That's okay, Jonathan. You've already made my day with those pictures that you posted in chat.
Oh, let's not talk about those.
What?
Stay on the pictures, eh?
Pre-caller.
Yeah. What's wrong with you, man? Anyway.
Oh, the moon pictures. Those pictures. I
right. Oh yeah, I did put a full moon.
We were talking about the moon.
Put a full moon right there for you.
A full moon right there for you.
Full moon, definitely.
You're too much. Here's me in Miami. This is me hanging out with just some friends. It's not a bad life. Anyway, so listen, let's get back to the topic at hand.
Which was something about full moons.
Moon.
We got about 3 minutes before we hit the break, so whatever the next topic is, we better make it quick. I heard they crashed the satellite into the moon, and it rang like a bell.
I'm stepping on you, go.
Because I heard they crashed a satellite into the moon, and it rang like a bell.
I heard that. I also heard it made a ring when Uncle Buzz threw his life-surviving gear out onto the surface of that moon before they launched off of it for the first time in the history of mankind, because that's what you do.
All right, check this out. Ready?
Ready.
Okay, say our theory was right. Say what I was saying was correct about it being an amplifying bullhorn, right? Almost like the Arecibo dish, right? Here's a better one. Have you guys ever seen where they have 2 parabolic dishes, and when you whisper in one, you can hear it like 200 yards away because it's perfect?
There's one in Lafayette that we go play with quite often.
Okay, they have one at Sesame Place out in Pennsylvania. That's where I first saw it. Here's my point. Because this thing is like tight, like a drum, almost like an Indian drum, right? It's pulled really tight, whatever the surface of the moon is. Let's say it's metallic, whatever it's made out of, okay? You barely ping it because it's hollow, all right? And the amplifier could be set way back many miles behind it. You hit the surface of that thing, it's going to have such a resonance. It's going to be ready to go off, like you said, like when he landed on the moon, okay? That, yeah, if you think about it, amplification of something like that at that huge of a level, that would affect how many square miles of the surface of the Earth? I mean, that would cover, right, exponentially. It'd be huge. It'd be like 2,000, 3,000.
When you look at the bottom area, the bottom crater, it looks like girders. It's the Death Star.
Does it really?
Dude, I'm about to show you on camera. I mean, from the point, well, you can't see it on this one. Let's grab the other one. From the point, like right here, is that resolving on camera?
Oh, I've seen that thing before. I always wondered what the hell that was.
Dude, it's fucking girders. You see it. I mean, it's a structure. There's no doubt. Now, what's on it? Some kind of crystalline structure, I think.
Oh my God. What happened to Nuka? His wife see those pictures and she's smacking him over the head.
Take care, Nuka. Much love, brother.
Take it easy, brother.
This afternoon.
Thank God I didn't
Cheers.
post.
Cheers, guys. Bye. Love ya.
Bye, Nuka.
Hey, man, thank you. Love you. Appreciate you hanging out with us.
Hey, where's he from? Where's he
South
from?
Africa.
Yeah, what part? What part? is he from?
He's told us, but I can't pronounce it, and definitely since I can't pronounce it, have forgotten.
I like the way he was like so like crap. Gotta go. See you guys.
We're gonna go for a few minutes and come back for another 30.
Little boxes on the hillside, little boxes made of ticky-tack, little boxes on the hillside, little boxes all the same. There's a green one and a pink one and a blue one and a yellow one. They're all made out of ticky-tacky, they all look just the same. And the people in the houses all went to the university where they were put in boxes and they came out all the same. And there's doctors and there's lawyers and business executives and they're all made out of ticky-tacky. They all look just the same. And they all play on the golf course and drink their martinis dry. They all have pretty children. The children go to school and the children go to summer camp and then to the university where they are put in boxes. They come out all the same. And the boys go into business and marry and raise a family in boxes made of ticky-tacky. They all look just the same. There's a green one and a pink one and a blue one and a yellow one. They're all made out of ticky-tacky. They all look just the same.
Wake up, it's a brand new day.
Here's a message of importance to millions of people who are continually pale and washed out, weak and run down. Doctors will tell you that these conditions are often caused by a deficiency of iron. The iron you need to keep you physically fit and mentally alert. Medical studies show that 2 out of 3 women and many, many men lack the daily iron your body requires in a form your body can easily use and put to work. Every dose gives you more than your daily minimum iron requirement.
We are the way, we are the way, we are not alone. We are striving for more.
So if you're not getting the iron your body needs, if you feel weak, run down, and are easily upset, start taking iron today.
Adam?
Wake up. And welcome back to the 4th and final segment of the Ironworx.
Did you just put Frank from Donnie Darko in that last part?
I did.
What's wrong with you?
Wake up. Wake up.
I love that.
Because people need to wake up.
Wake up!
You see,
Which one is that from? Which one is that one?
No idea.
You
That
see,
last one, Donnie Darko, was awesome.
you see my Frank behind me back there?
Hold on a second, bro. Hold on, let me go back. I was looking at my favorite website.
This dude.
Chatterbait. Oh, there he is. Yeah, right next to the moon. That moon that you have back there, is that the moon from like the old style moon from like the 1920s? Is that like from a commercial moon?
I don't know how long he's been around. I had it in the right.
I think he's talking about the other one, the one behind Frank.
Oh, no, the one behind Frank.
Yeah, that's the sun and the moon blended together, which we were also talking about.
I see the sun now. I see the sun. I didn't see the sun part.
We were talking about that recently as well.
What, the relationship between the two?
The joining of that happening and how that's something. When were we? Was that another one of those off the air things?
Could have been.
Yeah.
I think it was.
And here's my argument too, right? This is like, so we know the moon's a physical object, and some people say that it emits its own light. Okay, but perhaps what if the sun actually is the battery, just like it fuels plants and ourselves and everything? What if it makes the moon work? Like without the sun, you can't have the moon working.
Right.
And what if the moon only gets illuminated by the sun? It's like, because you ever make there's a really cool video a guy made, and he's showing how when you cast light onto like your hand, it makes, of course, shadow puppets on the wall. But if you light a match, you'll see the match, right, with the same flashlight lit on it, but you won't see the flame of the match. Like it won't cast a shadow of the outline of that flame. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
You'll see the matchstick because that's physical.
Right.
But you can't cast a shadow on light.
Right.
So we know for a fact, the moon is a physical object. We don't know what the sun is. They say it's a physical object, but at the same time, they say it's just gaseous, right? And it's all, what is it? I mean, what kind of mass are we talking? It's not like a piece of charcoal that was, is ignited forever. It's not a wick. They come up with the idea, it's fission and fusion, all this bullshit. It's like, okay, yeah, just conveniently, like all this gas is just like condensed and that makes up the sun. Like, come on, man. You got to give us something better than that. What if, those things that people see, the anomalies where it looks like they say UFOs are fueling off the sun and then they take off, like they'll be on a tether. Have you seen those objects, those big spheres?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what if it's the other way around? What if these damn things are the fuel tanks that are refueling the damn sun? What if it's the opposite? Like they're refilling the wick on, like you would on an oil lamp.
Well, it kind of looks like that, doesn't it? Because the funnel always goes. Well, no, I
The
guess
other
not.
way. I thought that when I watched that happen too, that it was backwards. It looked like it was putting something on the sun, not taking it off the sun.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right?
the funnel
Do you
isn't
get what I'm
like
saying?
big on the sun and then comes down to it. It's like bigger on it and then funnels towards the sun, like the vortex going in
And you would
that
say,
direction.
some people might say, well, whatever it's filling it with, it would be too small to fill up the sun. Well, how do you know what it's filling it with? What if what it's filling it with are little like molecules or something, right? That's condensed, and it's like once you put them into water, they expand, like those dinosaur things. What if these spheres are filling it up with something that then expands? Like nuclear fission material or something. We know how much energy there is in one atom when you split it, a hydrogen atom, when you hit it with U-237 or some crap like that, right? Isn't it U-237, uranium-237? You hit a hydrogen atom and you have a simple bomb.
I thought that was a Matthew McConaughey movie.
No, I did a report on it actually in 8th grade. But the point is that what if they're filling it with that kind of fission material? So you only need a small amount to fuel the sun for an extended period. So they could be right about that, about what goes on in the sun, but only because we've been told by aliens or the higher ups that are whoever's at the top of what we say, like the Committee of 300 or whoever we think is the top dog, is the top lackey underneath our overseers, and it is overseers. That's a fact. I would argue that I would chase that down before I chase down the flat Earth. Like I would just go
Isn't
right
it
to
the Gardner 300? The Gardner of 300, they call it.
Oh, I don't know about this. I
Out
know
there,
the Committee of 300. Yeah, the Committee of 300.
Yeah, the Gardner of 300. Like it's a snake almost. If you keep going back, maybe they changed it. I don't know. Maybe they want to be more politically correct nowadays. I don't know. But yeah, I know it used to be called the Gardner of 300.
Makes sense. I mean,
And the Knight of Maltas and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, they're all. Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, look, how else
Joe Biden, our president-elect right now, was a Knight of Malta. He used to protect the Pope.
So when people say this stuff like, well, how could such a big secret be contained? Well, if you have secret societies and you're swearing people in under penalty of death, but you're also giving them perks for keeping their mouths shut, then of course it's going to be easy to contain this whole friggin' thing. We already know there's tons of people in this world that have no conscience, right? We know that there's people that become pharmaceutical reps or unscrupulous lawyers or corrupt judges. I mean, they can run. You just find anybody's weakness. And I don't mean to just pick on those three groups. Of course, there's good people in each one of those occupations, right? But I'm saying that with the power that comes with it and all these things, appeal to our lower senses, you pair that all together and it's really easy to corrupt somebody.
It all comes down to the secret societies. I mean, people can be in secret societies. It doesn't bother me. That's fine. We have the Fourth Amendment. You have the right to privacy. But
why do you think
these people should not be allowed to run for public office? Ever.
I get it. I've always said the same thing. Anybody who wants to be a politician should not be allowed to be a politician, especially where there's nepotism. But here's the thing, nepotism. The thing about it is,
if you want to be a politician and be a politician, you are not allowed to take an oath that supersedes any other oaths.
Oh, you mean like
most of these secret societies make you take?
When they get knighted, they swear an oath to. Yeah, no, absolutely. Or dual citizenship back to Israel.
Yeah, they swear an oath that supersedes all other oaths. That's part of the oath.
I concur.
They have to say that. And they hold a blade to their chest. If they break this oath, it is like committing suicide pretty much.
But here's the thing, though. Even with like the sexual abuses, like you hear all these stories from, what's her name? Kathy O'Brien, Franklin Institute, Kay Riggs. Remember, she was giving that talk about her husband in the military and all that stuff. He was a high-level guy. Did you ever see the Kay Riggs interviews? You guys should do a search on that. Kay Riggs. Riggs, man. She talks candidly. She looks like some Martha Stewart type from Connecticut, from like Simsbury, Connecticut, talking candidly about her high-ranking military husband and the shit he had to do, all these acts to keep him blackmailed. What I'm saying is, if that's the program, that's how you instill it, and you start from a young age with trauma, sex-based trauma in a child. Okay, not only are you going to have shame and compartmentalization of the mind, fragmenting of the mind, all these different things, alters if you really want to take it that far, but you're going to have this. It's a sad loyalty. It's all shame and fear based, right? And they probably like threaten these children the same, and they keep them in line. They say, "Look,
loyalty you're not proud of," you know.
Exactly. And you can't explain it to people because it's mixed with good moments with the bad. The person's mind is conflicted. Well, my dad loves me, but I understand because, we're part of this. They rationalize it in their head, and they're all screwed up.
It's alcoholism.
Exactly
it's addiction.
Huh?
It's alcoholism. It's addiction. It's a same cycle.
Same exact pattern. Yeah, when I've seen people. Yeah, you're right. Children of parents that are alcoholics, but mommy loves me, but it's not her fault. It's only when she drinks, kind of thing.
Well, even personally, even mommy's drinking is shame and guilt and fear all wrapped up in there, and she loves the alcohol. It's got the good times and it's got the bad, and she can justify the way it's ruining her life, but she justifies her drinking.
If we know this, and we're talking candidly, and we know this, okay, we know this for a fact, we've seen this, then why do they allow anybody who runs this country or this world, why would we allow ourselves to have so many alcohol stores, especially prolific in economically depressed areas, right? Why would we have a war on drugs when we know plants are actually medicinal, and we're seeing people awake and aware with certain plants, and yet alcoholism that kills, alcohol kills more people, which not just drinking and driving, but destroys family homes and everything else. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, it's like,
and we have
pull-up
daiquiri drive-through windows here in the South. So yeah,
but it's all about measures of control. All these things are right in plain sight, yet we still obey our masters, and we still allow them to poison us. We find out that they're putting shit in our food, we still eat it. We know that McDonald's is crap and it's subsidized by the government, we still eat it. I mean, what the hell are we doing here?
They need us here for some reason. They don't just want us dead, right? The elite don't want us to. The elite don't want to kill everybody. Otherwise,
they lose energy. They get off on our fucking suffering. That's
probably the most accurate. It is Lush. I mean, what's his name used to talk about that all the time. Angel used to talk about Lush, and I think Alex Gray was on that tangent for a while with the Archons. Right? We're talking about the Archons here. Is that correct?
Or whatever name they're going by these days, right? Yeah, the ones who fucking suck off our energy.
The People's Front of Judea, or the Judean People's Front.
I was speaking with a young man yesterday about this exact topic. I was talking with a young man about this exact topic yesterday, and there seems to be some kind of electrical changes going on in our atmosphere. Things are changing. Don't know what they are, but what if they know what they are, and the energy we put off, whether it be positive or negative, the magnetic field.
Zach, let me ask
what
you
if
this.
they're controlling that to stop the reset, to keep their reign going?
Zach,
well, of course they're trying to keep the rain going. That's why the energy's so fucked up right now. That's why everybody's devices are screwed up. That's why the ringing in our ears is increased crazily over the last 2 days.
Let me ask you this. Wait, let me ask you guys this, because you guys are both movie buffs, and we talked about a lot of topics. All right, the Highlander movie it's absolutely one of my favorites with Sean Connery.
Yes.
Check this out. Part 1 talks about who? The Immortals. Part 1. Got it?
Uh-huh.
The second chapter of the story, which really a lot of people always put down the second movie because it sucked.
There should be
really
only
not
one.
About what's
Sorry.
that?
I said there should be only one. Go ahead.
There should be only one. It was a decent story, badly done. How about that?
No, the first one was great, but no, here's the second one. Here's what I'm saying. This is what was being missed. Remember the second one, the whole idea behind them being immortal was because they were from another planet. They changed the whole narrative and all this bullshit. Check it out. How did it open, though? What was the story plot to begin with? The Earth itself, Connor McLeod is now a genius. He could tap into the minds of every man and woman on Earth, right? Remember that? He had that ability, and he was able to bring peace by connecting everybody. But he's also now a genius level from all this knowledge, and he created a dome to protect us from the sun over the Earth. Remember, there was an electrical field, and there was like a weird haze.
Maybe I need to go back and watch it. I
literally
literally haven't seen it since it was at the theater, and I hated it so much. So I'll probably need to see it again.
So these aliens come down. That one guy who was he was the roughneck in Starship Troopers. He was the bad guy. Michael Ironside. Michael
Ironside. Yes, sir.
Okay. He's the villain in this. But here's the thing. He's an overlord. He's coming down. It's this alien race, and what are they doing? They put this dome on us of control. they change our atmosphere. They change the sunlight. They block the sun from getting to us, and everything's kind of doom and gloom and, you know. So what if they're actually telling us an actual story of the subplot of what's going on right here on the planet, like right now?
That's what movies are. They have to tell us these things. It's part of their magic. It's part of the lesser rituals. They have to reveal it. It's all about their karmic balancing for their lives.
Do you know who suggested that, Walt? Do you know who suggested that? Me. Back in 2003 in Godlike Productions, I put that out there.
That's awesome.
And people
that's
ran with
exactly it. That's what the fuck it is. You see every movie. I just rewatched, what's the idiot movie I just rewatched? Sausage Party. If that doesn't tell you what the fuck's going on, go watch it if you haven't seen it. I mean, there's truly an Antarctic edge. There's a frickin' the gods are eating us. It's the whole.
Think about this. Why do they do the same thing in a court of law? Why is there a thing called disclosure in a court of law?
Sir.
It's the same principle.
Yes, sir.
It's about karmic accountability.
Yep.
Because we're working with energies here, and they know that they believe.
Right, Monsters Incorporated. Robert Page just put there in chat. Yep, see, there you go. Another one showing us exactly what the fuck's going on.
Well, Monsters Incorporated is about Loosh, but they're dressing it up in monsters.
Well,
really.
of course they are. I mean, they have to make the kids enjoy it. But it's telling us what the hell's going on. They use their fucking monsters, which are whatever. Pick your monster. COVID, war, disease. What's your monster? It's in the closet, and it will make you freaking terrified at night. And that energy goes somewhere.
Hey, if I share a screen here, if I do share a screen, it won't go out over the air, right?
It will.
Oh, never mind then. I can't share the screen. Son of a gun. Well, no, she's not naked.
It will indeed go out over the air.
Hold on a
Don't
second.
this FCC.
Really?
No, I don't know. I don't know what the hell it would be. But truly.
Can you guys see that?
Oh my God. I don't know what everybody's saying, but stop.
Okay, wait, stop sharing. Just wanted to make sure. That wasn't bad.
Not yet. Again, the opinions expressed by Jonathan from Tracy.
We're just testing the waters.
Is definitely his.
It was Christmas. It was my.
It's Christmas. It's new game.
That's my adopted daughter from Colombia.
Sorry.
I send her money every day.
The dichotomy that is Jonathan from Jersey, everyone.
You know why I do this, right?
No.
What?
Please tell us.
You don't know why?
Loose energy?
I don't know why the fuck you do what you do.
Because look, man, who's gonna look? If I was any more serious, if I really dumped like the heavy shit, I don't want another knock on my door. I keep people guessing. I don't want people to know how serious I am. We talk off the air. You know I'm a much more serious guy than this.
I know. That's why I know what you're doing is CYA. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
That's why I always tell people I'm not a doctor, nor do I play one on TFR.
Hey, listen, I'm crazy, but I'm crazy.
Back around again, I can go, what? What the fuck?
I tell people I'm crazy, but I'm crazy as a fox, and you won't know it till it's too late. Don't let this bastard in your hen house. Anyway. See, look at this. Wait a minute, guys. Wait. I got to show you this. She's trying on the shoes that I bought her. Look at this.
No.
I just bought her these shoes.
Josh.
Is that awesome? So
Josh, help us.
Hey,
everybody. Remind everybody that we're doing a show this afternoon with a guest.
We are. We're
the
having
only one on here. I only see your screen, Walt. I don't see anybody else's, by the way.
We're going to have a 13-year-old Donnie on with us this afternoon.
Who's that?
It's my wife's friend's son. And he's just been waking up to all this crap and really needs an outlet, and he's stuck. He can't socialize with his friends. He can't like hang out with his friends. He's stuck doing stupid school online.
You know what the problem is? Because back when we were that age, we had porn magazines and garbage bags out in the woods. Remember that? You had like that treehouse where the guys just knew.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We had slingshots. We had, what else did we have? Nerf footballs. I went to Walmart yesterday. I couldn't find a Nerf football. Do they make them anymore?
Oh, yeah, they do.
Well, maybe he should focus on that instead of big problems like the flat Earth.
Yeah.
I would, steer him back to the good stuff in life. He's got plenty of time to hang out with guys like us that are.
That's the thing. He's not allowed right now.
Right,
That's
you can't
the
go
whole
play
point.
catch.
Yeah. That's a lot of
You
the
can't go
issue
hang
right
out with
now.
your friends.
Touch that football. Someone else just touched that football. You got to catch it with a wet nap.
And that's
and wipe
part of
it
what's
down.
got him sick and tired of what's going on, which has kind of led more to an awakening than probably would have happened if they'd have just let him go outside and play fucking football.
Yeah, he hears them describing the flu and sees the panic, and he's like, "This is crap. There's no way this is what this is."
Did you turn him on to this or something? Does he know that you have the radio program and all that? And...
Well, he recently found out.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. And who's this in relation to you?
My wife's friend's son.
Oh, okay. So you don't care if he gets brain damage or anything like there's no harm if we hurt him.
No,
it's not like he's related to you. There's no.
She speaks to him about things far beyond this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
So
and I'm only teasing because I tried bringing my son. I had a gentle approach with my son. I said, look, man, you can think anything you want. You can believe anything you want. I will totally support it, full 100%. Just don't be afraid to ask questions. I said, that's the one thing I want you to do. And the one thing I don't want you to do is get polarized in your views so much that you stop asking questions and just believe the dogma. That's how you get sucked into cults. And he says, no, I get it. And I said, he goes, I know you answer anything. So I let him ask every question across the, because there are
That's
no
good.
wrong.
That's good. That's exactly how my son and I are and were, and he knows that, he can say and do and believe any and everything and talk to me about it all, please. Don't think just because I think one thing, he may think another, that he can't discuss it with me. For sure, that's what I want to discuss. So, and it's worked out so far. He's a pretty awesome man.
Yeah, I concur.
That's cool.
Love your son.
And I'm still waiting for a phone call any day during the week instead of 5 a.m. from either Walt or Zach. I mean, even Josh. I know Josh has an excuse. He has a real job, but
we've seen the pictures you're posting. You don't have time to talk to us.
Are you on my Facebook? Are you on my Facebook?
No.
I don't know.
Off the air
I
here.
don't get on Facebook ever.
No, I only use it I literally use it for social connections down here. I don't use it for much of all else, but I wish you guys would call me, man, because listen, John still wants to do an interview off air. I told you that. He's busy from Cosm.
Yep.
But I'll tell you what, I had that other guy, Dr. Bruce Cornett, the one I told you I used to go to Pine Bush with. I just reconnected him this week, and he says, yeah, let me know when I can come on. Do you want him to come on next Tuesday? Confirmed?
That's absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, we can do that.
I'll have him get on at 5 a.m. or whenever you want.
What time is his 5 a.m. for us? Like,
he's in El Paso, Texas. So what is that?
So it'll be Central. This one we would start for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, El Paso, is that past? No, yeah.
No, that might be Arizona time, isn't it? That's mountain time, isn't it?
No, it's still.
It might be El Paso's way out on the western.
Yeah, I
tip.
think it's 2 hours difference.
It might be a difference. It might be 5. We'll double check. But yeah, that sounds great, man. Please, that'd be amazing. Yeah.
He's got some stories. He's a little out there.
El Paso. I spent a few weeks in El Paso. Not so much in the town, but there's a state park.
Here's the reason why I want you guys to talk to him. More than the flat Earth or anything he's looked at in the sky, the guy's a geologist and a paleontologist. So I suggest you ask him Earth-based questions, even about the mud floods or anything like that.
Fucking A, dude, that's amazing. One of my people I ever interviewed on the show and got to know personally off the air was Lloyd Pye, who was also a paleontologist. So I would have some deep shit with this.
So
man.
you attack.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Hard questions. Yeah. Cool, man.
We're about done with the show, folks.
Yeah, we're there. Good Lord. Thank you so much for calling in, Nuka, and hanging out with us, man. Miss having you around. I'm glad that things are good, and I hope you feel better, dude. Go check out that golden milk. I will find the recipe and post it for you either in the show description or I'll just put it in the show description for everybody. So thank you, Jonathan, for hanging out, and thank you for getting us hooked up with that Tuesday guest. You're here. You're welcome. Hang out with us anytime, my man.
Thank you, brother.
This afternoon, don't forget, man, it's going to be awesome. I'm going to get to know Donnie for the first time, and so will you guys.
And we did not speak flat Earth at all on Wednesday.
We did tell him to get whatever
he's coming
questions.
with a lot of questions.
Yep. And realize it is a little bit outside Donnie's comfort zone too. So, he may be a little quiet, a little reserved, a little shy. So, as relaxed as we are, even for a 13-year-old, this I can see how might be a little
absolutely
put you off kilter for a little bit. So
that's cool.
We've seen it happen before.
We'll hang out and it'll be good. It'll be good for sure. Thank you, everybody there. Thank you all in chat. I see there's a lot of you I didn't actually get to say hey to personally, but I love you all and thank you all for being there. Come hang out with us this afternoon.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a blast. Make sure you tune in next week or every Tuesday and Friday over there on Truth Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com. We will do our best to try to get it streamed out elsewhere, but OBS is being a bear this morning. I don't know. Sorry for the wonky stream. I just let it run because I tried restarting right before we went live and didn't seem to do any good. So
yeah, I didn't even think to check back with you and see how it had progressed as far as the quality. Well, sorry for the in and out there. We love you guys.
Right.
See y'all this afternoon.
That's right.
Love y'all.
Love you guys.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you,
Walt. Thank you, Jonathan.
See you later.
See you guys. Be good. Be well. We love you.
Love you.
Bye-bye.